Hello, everybody, and good evening. It's yours truly, GameFan701. It is an absolute chilly winter out there today. Temperatures have been rising and falling, although at the beginning of December 2023, Jack Frost came in with a hard vengeance, and the place of England absolutely got frozen up with Jack Frost and snow. Um, it did melt though on the third day, but it came back again for a few times. However, though, let's just say things are really freezing up again because it's just getting more and more colder. And of course, we've had a couple of wind warnings, and of course, there's going to be some more ice patrolling going on because it really is getting very chilly out there, you know. So, best for you guys to stay warm and for the best. It really has been like a Christmas month already because even though it comes on the 25th of this month, to me this month has been completely like over and over, like it's continually a Christmas day after day, and that's kind of like how it's been, and I'm really am looking forward to Christmas 2023 like I've always done every year, regardless of how tough things have been. In 2020, everyone thought like that, it wasn't going to be a good Christmas, but we pulled through and it was a great celebration. 2021, another great celebration came through, and last year was tremendous. This year definitely feels like it's going to be even better because, to be honest, Christmas came early for me this month. It just feels like it has been. One big surprise after another, and it just makes my festive spirit burn with a passion. So I feel really happy about that, and I'm sure you guys are loving December this month. Looking forward to Christmas as usual, singing Christmas carols, or listening to your favorite songs, or reminiscing on your childhood, thinking of some great fond memories of friends and family who might not be with us, who were there. You know, coming together, celebrating with goodwill and kindness to one and all. And that's how I feel every December. My Christianity coming out, and I feel happy about it. You know, I really do love this time of the year. Despite what some people might think of who I am as a person behind the camera or behind my gimmick of who I am, I really am a good, kind person. And this time of the year, I'm just full of it, full of kindness and goodwill, and just love to share the festive spirit with everybody because that's what the power of Christmas does. It brings the good of humanity out. And, you know, that's how I wish for everybody. Hell, I've even opened up to some old friends who I've not spoken to for like close to 8 to 9 or even a decade years or on. And they just reply back with some wonderful messages. Some have even dropped everything about who I am previously, and some are just happy to hear from me. The rekindling of Christmas joy. That's kind of how it is. And I'm really happy about that. So I do feel like the power of Christmas really is a wonderful thing. It brings out the humanity. Yes, Diego, I can see you. There's no need to worry. I'm not ignoring you. I can see you in the chat box. You're okay, dude. Honestly. But that's how it is, and I just feel like that's how I am. If I can reach out and just send a lot of good, friendly Christmas messages, even if there are those who still doubt me regarding the quote unquote, you know, what's the word, controversy or controversial, whatever the f you want to call it. I mean, that's long been done with now. It's done with. It's in the past. You know, everyone seems to have dropped in, just moved on. Because some people still think I need to show I've been redeemed. What they don't know is I've long since been a good man. You know what I mean? Thanks to your support and help and talking me out with therapy and everything else. I'm proud of it. I feel like I've gone back on track since, and it just got better and better. You know, I'm a much more outspoken person, more open up, and a lot of things that some people just won't understand about me. They have to understand is that it's who I am, and I can't change for that. I have my reasons to be how I am, and if others can't understand it, that's their problem, not mine. You know, I've actually opened up a lot about everything of how I've done for the last couple of years of why I was and this and that. And it's not to paint me as a villain. It's just who I am. A shades of grey person, a good man who isn't all good, who isn't all bad. It's just in between the two sides, and that's how I am. You know, I've even opened up to being a straight person. You know, that's just how it is with me. But the good thing is, I'm able to confront a lot of other things that I've been able to sort out, and I'm just glad to know. And I'm glad that some of you guys are, were able to hear me out and listen to it. And I feel happy about it, and I've let go of a lot of things, but the only thing that really buggers me is that others either choose not to or are too blind to not realize that I'm back as the good man that I have always have been, prior to the whole thing regarding my 2017 downfall and the suffering of what we all had to face for during 2020 and 21, which was, the years of uncertainty and despair and a lot of fear during the pandemic, as well as other things that were too political that really shattered humanity, and a lot of us ended up hurting each other. And I feel like we all did that. But I do believe that in time, things have healed up. But, we can't always go back to as we were. We have to try and improve and progress. And sometimes during the Christmas month, like in December, that's where the magic can happen and you don't even know it's going to happen. It just comes out of nowhere and something really cool will happen, and then boom, before you know it, good joy and goodwill and good celebration is unfolding, and that's the magic about it. That's the beauty of what can actually happen. I can see Astro Boys over here in the bottom. Nice to see you too again, pal. I'll put you in when I can. I really do feel happy every time December comes, regardless of all the flaws that we all have to go through, regardless of all the drama issues and all the BS and rubbish that we have to fight with. This time of the year has really helped out, and it really does rekindle the human soul, and it makes me feel happy. It really shows my true side of who I am as a person to come out as. It's like a healing process sometimes. And of course, my loyal Christianity coming out really does help me out too. That's how it is with me. I'm pretty sure some of you might think the same, or not completely, but who knows? It's just who we are. Hey, Astro Boy, before I put you in anyway, since I've been talking long enough to myself.
Yeah. It has been a while since you've last streamed, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I stream when I can. I don't do it like continuously over and over like I used to do when everybody would just take notice and would do some silly things. As you might be known in the past, everybody else would illegally download my streams and make shitty out of them. And as you know, certain users have done that and to further harm me, and it was very terrible. But thankfully, that had been dealt with. Because it is wrong to take someone's privacy and just to demonize it, if you get my drift. And that's happened to me quite a lot, but that was all taken care of eventually.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
By
because
the way, I had just downloaded Train Z Simulator 2019 on my laptop.
well, good for you. I hope you have a lot of fun with it.
Oh, indeed, I did. And I'm actually downloading a locomotive on there. It's the Western Maryland Shea Big Six.
Oh, you're basically downloading. Oh, hang on. Is that from? If I'm not mistaken, is that from K&L?
No, it was from another. Uh, shoot, what was that? What was that I would call it?
Trains Forge?
I think so. I don't know.
Because there's two websites. There's the current one, and then there's the older one, which I can't get into anymore, sadly, which had some badass models. I managed to save a few before that site ended up becoming a suspicious one, as it were.
Yeah.
Which is really
Yeah.
sad, really, because it had some of the best models and engines I could find that I needed for my CSW roster.
Yeah.
And I've managed to
And
save them, thank God.
yeah. Um,
But the good thing is, though, Astro, I mean, I'm really looking forward to Christmas. I've got my decorations up. Um, like I said before, this is the time of the year where I really feel like it helps me out. And for the last couple of years, despite what happened in 2020 and 21, as you know, regarding myself and everything else in the world, Christmas really came through with a strong kindness, and it really helped me find what I needed, if you know what I'm saying. It was like a distraction of what was going on around us, and it worked brilliantly. Made me come out of my shell and celebrate, and it still does to this day. Still, you know.
Yeah. Hold on, let me mute my mic because
I can hear. Yeah, I'm gonna go get Bart going in. He's watching me right now. Hello,
Hello.
chap. Nice to see you. Good
Nice to
quality.
see you.
Good quality on your end as well.
Yeah. You would not believe how hard it was for me to enter this whole thing. Time and a half.
What do you mean in a half, Brian? What's up?
I had to go change the settings a bunch of times because it wasn't letting me use the mic and camera.
Oh, that's the mic issues. Yeah, sometimes your camera will work or your mic won't, but it depends on what happens, and eventually you've solved it. Seems like you've mastered it already.
Yeah.
Oh, and
yeah,
tries the
that
menus.
that always sometimes happen a lot of times. Like I have that experience too whenever I do a VC chat on Discord.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. Mine was already automatically done with. In any cases, Change the Mania's in the stream here watching me on the chat. Hi, pal. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Everything's really going well. Like I said, I mean, there's just so much going on in the world right now. I mean, but this year's definitely been something though, like a positive year. Everything that came to an end after everything that happened. I've come out quite well, and like I said before, I've actually dropped a lot of things where there are some people who still doubt me still, and there were others via social media who tried to give me the reaction of a bad thing, but I knew better anyway. You know, I knew better
Yeah.
what to do because there were just some who just love to try and do things the wrong way on me, and it just goes to show that I'm not going to give anyone the reaction they want me to do because those who really, really, in the Thomas fandom or anywhere else, they're like, in my opinion, just too weak now because I never I never came back for a while, and those who continue, like, talk negatively about me or whatever the case, they'll never understand. They'll never see the man who I was beforehand as a good lad. It does heartbreak me that I had to let go of a lot of them who I was once close to with, but I have reached out to some who should be willing to listen because the hell I've put myself through, which was actually worth it, made me feel more human as ever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I will admit, I do admit I've come out with a lot of regret and remorse, but I have no guilt because if people have carried too much guilt, we all know what that can do to a person. It's not a good thing. So, the more regretful and remorseful you are, the better you can be, and that's how I've dealt with it.
Yeah, that's always true.
There are some who still want to think, they need to show that I have. Well, I've already done so. Like I'm miles ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a time right now, as a month that we should have, of good kindness and, goodwill to all, even if there are those who still think I'm the past man that I was before that everybody didn't like or whatever. But, this is a Christmas month. It's a time of goodwill and joy, that's how it is, and usually when people go that bad route and it tends to ruin my Christmas month and it can easily hurt me. So that's why I try and be as good and nice as I can be. With me being a Christian and all that kind of stuff. That's just how it is with me.
And by the way, I was helping my best friend Jason to make a script for the episode that we are working on. Is for episode 3 of the Steam Railways.
Okay.
So, and the name of this episode, we call it "The Ghost of the HMHS Britannic."
Oh lordy dordy, of Titanic's twin sister. Even though I tried to finish off my Forgotten Sister story fanfic again, which is getting difficult for me to write at this point because I am kind of dipping in and out of my fanfics on Thomas, sadly. But you go ahead.
Yeah, it's like I've actually had that idea ever since I first watched one of Daniel Wells's videos, The Ghost of the Titanic. Like I have that idea that's similar to that.
Dude, look, man. Daniel Wells, I know him all too well, and I miss the hell out of that guy. I used to stream with him on other parts, but I'm wondering where the hell he's been because I really would love to get back with him. I've watched that before. It was a bit strange, but I know he was influenced by one of my fanfics on Titanic. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, it was a bit weird, but I loved it for what it was. In terms of story wise, or maybe in the script or whatever, but yeah, there were some like I wouldn't say cringy moments because I wouldn't say that, but because at the time when I first watched this video, I was thinking this guy's good what he's doing, but then he kind of like was like, okay, I see what he's trying to do. But because of the general audience that he was talking with, I was a bit worried it would, boot him off the channel because I was worried about what he, it was a bit mature with what he was doing, and I was worried that he might be a bit too, well, I hate to say it, I thought he was a little underagey for it, but I think he pulled it off quite well, and there were some good moments. Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
I'm just trying
I remember the time when I watched another video from Daniel Wells that Vixie was searching something strange that she wasn't supposed to look at.
Yeah, I remember watching that. That was a little uneasy. I first came across him when he did his own take on, he borrowed like something to do with my infamous Ghost Train film as well, which I might let you guys know. What's been amazing lately is that a lot of fans have been from like 10 years prior or 8 or 7 years ago have come back and they remember watching it, growing up with what I made it at the time, and they still love it. And there are some who just really think it's one of the best in the Thomas fandom. And even my 311 film is still being showered with just great comments after great comments, like, but it's not me who should always be getting the praise and glory. There are those who took part who, I know some don't want to be remembered for it, but they have no idea that most of the guys who were casted in there who helped me with it at the time, they're still getting praised for the voice roles, you know,
Yeah.
and they have no idea that there's been great stuff been said about it, and and still to this day, and it makes me feel happy.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got somebody called Kevin2980 Pro. 6 years, huh? I may not remember who you are, mate. Oh, I hope it's not who I think it is. But dude, who are you, pal? Because 6 years has been forever for me, and I've moved on. Remind me who you are, pal. Tell me. Okay? Tell us who you are in the chat, pal, because I may not remember you, okay? Because I do have a bit of memory loss. I hope it's somebody who won't cause me any grief, okay? Because we're not going to have that on Christmas month. It's a time of goodwill and joy. Just wondering. His icon's a little bit strange.
Yeah.
Not sure who you are, Kevin Pro, but I'll find out.
Hopefully, you would get a chance to watch episode 3 of the Steam Railways on Jason's channel by the time when it's finished.
Oh, I'll be intrigued to see how it is. What do you mean I didn't come up but 6 year?
More?
I don't know what he's referring to. Yes, Trains Locomotive, if you wanna join in, that's fine. Trains, mate. What are you talking about, dude? Okay, this is getting a little bit unusual.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
What does he mean? It's been 6 years or whatever the hell.
What's this all about anyway?
I'm just looking for him, and
Okay.
he's a bit. This is a little unusual. If it's someone who I think it could be, I mean, I can't remember 6 years ago or whatever the hell. That is a little unusual. It's not showing him on his searching or whatever, but the train's locomotive, where are you? If you want to join in, you can. Sorry, Jake Fan Productions, I can't send you the link or whatever.
Oh dear.
That is very unusual.
Oh, Diego is on a backstage.
I can see that. Yeah, it's best to remain backstage, pal. I can only put in certain viewers. I don't know about you, Kevin2980, but I don't remember you from 6 years ago. You might want to help me out.
You don't
All right?
remember?
I don't even know who this dude is. I can't even find him on the search box. Whatever the hell he is.
Huh.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
and
been 6 years. Oh, yes, I remember doing the Kurt Roman branch. That was one of the easy projects, even though that took me more than 6 months to put together. Because it was only a short story. I can remember that.
oh. Well, that explains a lot.
Yeah, well, I didn't have to comment, dude. You can see my videos still. The videos of it are still there, but you know. But where have you been, like, for 6 years, pal? I mean, how do you know me? I don't even remember you from 6 years ago, mate. It's a bit strange.
So, if I may ask, what are your opinions about Cunard Lines, Mauritania, and Aquitania?
Look, I wasn't really much of a Cunarder, because I was always with the White Star Line, But the Lusitania, Mauritania, and the Aquitania were one of the best four funnel stackers ever. They're more like express liners because built for speed and whatnot.
Yeah,
And of
but
course,
either the White Star Line always wanted to be like, much more luxurious than their rivals.
well, of course, in terms of size and luxury, give them a
Yeah.
long travel experience at sea. You don't want to rush or whatever, but I can understand why they did it differently, which I thought was a lot better. Comforting at sea is what you would do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Kevin says, "Oh, because I left the Timothy story." Listen, the whole Timothy story could go as it was. It was a different time period, dude. But then, after the 311 film was done, mate, that was it. I couldn't go any further, you know? Let's just say ideas would run short and the whole team had to disband. That's why I've done a complete reboot lately, even though I can't put any more content up because I've got no editing drive to do at the minute. That's why I write my fanfics in preparation.
I was very kind of surprised, like, when the Britannic wasn't completed at that time when the Titanic was lost. I did hear that the construction of her hull was paused for some modifications.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, because Britannic was just taking shape, and then all of a sudden, after that happened, they had to figure out what to do to prevent tragedy happening again. So, of course, White Star Line were going to have to do that.
Yeah, and probably the same goes for the Olympic too.
Well, Olympic had it done first, and then Britannic had it done later on.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I'm glad that the White Star Line had learned their lessons.
They did, but after Britannic sank, they didn't quite get it right. After all the safety precautions done, it just didn't work out. So I do feel like, as what's his name, the guy Ken Michelle, who did the art paintings of the other ships and everything, he actually said that White Star, really struck out badly with Titanic and Britannic sinking. Of course, maybe, but of course, as the old saying goes, bigger didn't always mean better. I mean, they had such good technology ideas, but they just, weren't able to combat with what would happen with Mother Nature out there. I mean, there was a lot of faith in the technology that was done. Here they were in 1912 when Titanic was built, and of course, things that you had never saw on a ship before. The world was changing, everything else for the best thing of what was going on, and yet, and this had to happen, and of course, you know,
Yeah.
You can't always rely too much on technology. You can never be too complacent with nature. Basically, it was the age of the innocent that died when Titanic sank. And of course, I wouldn't say it was the nail in the coffin for White Star when Britannic sank, but I can just definitely tell after that the company just never was the same again, and they would never be the same afterwards. Even if Olympic did serve quite well right up until 1935, you know, I mean, White Star just didn't rebound as strong as they had done. Despite they made some good liners later on, they just never recaptured what they hoped they would have had.
Hmm.
You know, and even if they did build you know, the liner that everyone talks about, which would have been the Super Titanic, which was the oceanic class, you know, the one that came around that would have happened. I feel like that would have been the ultimate
Yeah, like
comeback.
I did saw that video from Ocean Liner Designs that
God,
he talked about that.
I love that man's channel, man. He's awesome. I don't know what is about him, but he definitely knows his stuff.
Yeah.
I
And
remember
even
reading it.
I even love seeing the two videos of what if the Titanic or the Britannic didn't sink.
I watched them too as well, and I really thought that was fantastic. You know, I really, and I don't know why, but I am a big fan of what ifs. You know, and I felt like, what if he did that again? You know, make some more. Like, what if the Lusitania survived, or what if the White
Yeah,
Star Line?
like imagine something like that if the torpedo failed to detonate when it hit the Lusitania.
Or what if it missed the Lusitania, or if it exploded but still didn't sink? Or what if Britannic did hit the mine but was able to actually get there to beach at Keir Island? You know, or you know, what if the White Star Liner put Cunard out of business? You know, what would have happened then? What if White Star was still around and if Cunard had not been around?
Yeah, that'll be like an alternate timeline.
Yeah, like what if Titanic had survived to this day? Like, you know, basically taking the role of Queen Mary, being marooned somewhere or marooned back at Belfast or whatever the case may be. Or what if all three sisters made it into the 20th century today still, like, you know, retired but still hanging around doing the hotel business or, you know,
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
that's what I always wanted to imagine. Like if the Olympic would have have a peaceful life without sent away for scrap. Just imagine if she would have been like a floating hotel.
She would have done, and as they do with steam locomotives, you would have think that she would have been masquerading as her sister, you know, like basically carrying her name, but it's not really Titanic, it's actually Olympic in disguise. You know, that would be awesome. Then it would be like, so this is what the ship would have looked like, if you get my drift. Like,
Yeah, and here's something that really kind of got me confused. Like I saw several videos that people are claiming that the Olympic and Titanic had swapped their names.
oh God, don't even bring that up. I don't believe the switch theory ever happened.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I don't even believe that anyway. Like they didn't even swap their names.
Well, I mean, at the time when Titanic and Olympic were together, they as you know, they did start out as twins, so they were practically identical,
Yeah,
and
like
the
very identical, but with a little bit of a different appearance.
yeah, but I mean, Titanic didn't get her full improvements until later on afterwards. But like I said before, you know, but back then, 1912, I mean, people back then wouldn't have been able to tell the difference, even in the filming industry back in those days. Whereas in today's time, you could if anybody knew. But I mean, back in those days, you know, in an almost forgotten era, you know,
Yeah.
people wouldn't have known.
Have you seen this movie called The Laconia?
I've heard of it, never watched it though.
Yeah, because I watched the two parts of the movie on YouTube.
Okay,
Yeah, we all know that some of the movies out there are based on a true story.
that is true. Hmm. Okay, Kevin 2980 Pro please quit asking over and over, pal. I've told
Oh,
this many times. It's not going to happen, man. Honestly, listen, man. That's up for you to decide and whatnot. Okay, so drop it and move on. Okay, that's done and dusted with. That was a different time period in the Thomas fandom, and it was just a one-off thing. Okay. Um.
do they always have to ask the same question over again?
Yeah. Sometimes I don't even remember some of these people at the time. It's been that damn long. I don't even remember what I can remember, and because most of the stuff I remember would make me unhappy or not want to revisit down the road because it's not all fun memories with the whole film that I had to make with behind the scenes and everything else. Okay, back when I was a different individual, I wasn't mature as I thought I was. Whereas if I'd done them all today, I probably would be. I'd be satisfied with what it would have been.
Yeah. Do
And
you
a
know
lot.
what really kind of makes me upset about something after the Titanic went down?
What would that be?
Like, you know about the SS Californian, right?
Hmm.
I was actually very kind of pissed off at the captain because what
Of
he
course.
claims it was another ship, and he
Well,
believes it's not the Titanic.
well, California was in range of Titanic, but of course, if you remember, Titanic was sinking way too low, and of course, there was a lot of stuff happening at that point. There were some ships not fitted with radio, and of course, some had the distress rockets with them, and because of the distance that was between the two, some people felt that the rockets were like company signals to warn them about the ice, and some were not yet fitted with radios because that was happening back then for ships to communicate. You fire off distress rockets, because the wireless and communication was still brand new at the time as well.
Yeah,
So
with all the Marconi wireless systems, like it's all new back in those days.
it was people weren't still used to this what they were doing back then. If we done it in today's time, we would know exactly what to do.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that all these newer generation Morse keys were still being built, and approximately people are practicing how to use it within Morse code. Because I remember back in the day, the railroad also used to have that kind of system with the Morse keys too.
Indeed, that's true.
Yeah, like when all the other stations would receive those Morse codes, they'll be able to be notified that the train is coming their way.
Indeed. Some people actually used to say it was the transatlantic railway, back in them days. Like one ship would come and ferry the passengers while your ship's sinking. So that was another reason why people didn't have that much faith in the, a lot of other things, but they even had there was even the lack of lifeboats at the time as well. That's why not many carried that many as well either. Not to mention, what's the word again as well? Because that's another thing. Because when Titanic was built and in 1912, the Board of Trade regulations were out of date. I mean, they were still running from an out of date regulation of over 20 years prior. And of course, at the time when Olympic and Titanic and the other bigger vessels were built, let's just say the safety requirements weren't probably met, and of course there was no safety regulation to match what Titanic would have gone through at the time because it was a brand new ship, a new generation. Even though the ship was built and designed in a very nice way, but the safety regulations just, I think, weren't up for the task. Of course, as Thomas Andrews had said, as well as others, saying that he was overruled, that he could actually put more lifeboats in, and if Titanic had carried the actual number of lifeboats, she would have had about 46 lifeboats in total, which would have had room for everybody. Even though
Indeed,
she was,
'cause,
even though she was equipped with 20 lifeboats, being 4 of them were collapsibles, which was still more, but most vessels would carry up to 16, but she was actually carrying 20. Even though that still wasn't enough. It still worked. At least, you know, if you think about it, it was remarkable that 700 or 705 or how many that was actually made it out. So in a way, and of course, Titanic was revealed recently to be more tougher than you might think. Like it's basically, she took 2 hours and 40 minutes to sink, which was enough time to get everyone off as much as they could. And then, how should I put it? There's a video actually. Someone did like an alternate timeline if the record was lifted, and it was like depicting Titanic as somewhat of a hero who's not the bad guy, like an anti-hero that kind of becomes the hero who saves life despite others had perished or whatnot. Like it was like the survivor of its own disaster. I don't know if you saw that video, but it's actually bloody good. It's really, really cool. I advise you to check it out.
Yeah, because
Actually, you know what? Hang on, let me just find it here for a second.
and, I've also watched several videos that were made by Titanic Honor and Glory.
Oh, good lord! I absolutely love that series, man. It's a really good 3D technology of how things unfolded.
And I also kind of like the design of the Britannic, that she had those large electric gantry davits.
Yeah. Even though they had been prototyped on Olympic at one point, they actually did pass for a Britannic, so that's why she carried more than enough lifeboats for everybody.
Yeah, and I'm very surprised. Like even like if the Britannic was listing or anything, like she was when she was sinking, like the gantry davits could stretch a little further, even if the ship is listing to starboard or port.
Yeah, it still worked. I mean, it still worked out pretty well. But at the same time, who knows what would have happened if they'd been on Titanic? Who knows what would have happened? Then again, I think it would have been possible for all to get off if they had the same life davits on there at the back of the rear.
Indeed, but the last other two gantry davits that were supposed to be installed on the Britannics, shoot, what was the back of it again? What's the stern or something? Yeah, I think it was the stern.
Yeah, Britannic had a few at the stern as well.
Yeah, like when the Britannic was on its early career as a hospital ship, those gantry davits haven't been installed in time because the Britannic was being rushed as a hospital ship.
Indeed. But she still carried enough for everyone on board, about 40 something or whatever it was. She had more than enough though. Well over 40 or something like that.
Hold on a minute.
Oh, I think I found it. I think I found what it was I was looking for. There it is. Come on. Where are you? All right, here we go.
Okay, sorry about that. I was helping one of my dad's friends.
Hang on a second, Astro. I'll be right back with you.
All right.
Okay, Astro, I found the video I was looking for about it. If you want to check it out, just head into the private chat and it's right there.
All right
Enjoy.
then. Let's see.
And
All right, I see it.
you're going to enjoy this. I really thought this was really brilliant. The simulation in this and the texture is really fantastic. It's only a 5-month-old video. I think this channel was like very impressive. I was quite. It's been the most liked video of so far. Like if this could have actually happened, if it could, and I really did like it. To be quite honest, I'm thinking, why couldn't they have? Couldn't this have been the whole thing if this had been the case? If we could go back in time and actually salvage Titanic with this technology that we could have had, you know,
Yeah.
like give
Well,
it a
would
good
be
listen.
interesting. Okay.
Give it a good listen, and it's just absolutely a brilliant like what if we could do if this thing could have actually been the case. It's fantastic.
All right. By the way, I guess you probably also heard about what happened to the Carpathia back in 1918.
Yep, very aware about it all, Astro. Yeah, it was torpedoed and it went down, joined Titanic on the seabed 4 years later on after rescuing her survivors. And it was found as well. It's down there still somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, the Carpathia was really a true legendary hero.
Yes, it was. It was the only vessel that did respond to Titanic's call, despite being, 50 miles off, and of course, 58 miles away, and of course, was the only one who did it. Was willing to put itself at risk, and it just did it. It saved the survivors and whatnot.
Yeah, because I remember in a video where have you watched the videos called Titanic in Her Own Words?
Yes. Don't I actually? I've only seen it once, and I couldn't watch it a second time. It was just that really, it was too nerve gripping for me. Yeah, but that definitely, I will say that was a heck of an experience to hear. I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
because I remember in one part that the Olympic was trying to get some contact with Titanic when the Carpathia was asking the operator on the Titanic if they heard the Olympic signal. But
Yeah.
Jack Phillips responded back, said that no, he cannot read him because he couldn't hear but nothing but rush of air and noise of steam.
Well, Olympic was 500 miles away, way too far to do anything. Although Titanic's wireless operation could actually pick up vessels for about well over more than 500 plus miles off. So a radio operation was quite strong to be connected to the outside world. So just about anybody would have heard, regardless how close or how far you were.
Yeah. And I remember in that video, like the first ship to ever respond Titanic's distress call was a German ship, the SS Frankfurt.
Yeah, Frankfurt. Yeah, how ironic! A German rival of Titanic responding to a call.
Yeah,
then,
like Jack Phillips was like, he's getting sick and tired of the German operators that they don't speak English and they just translate every messages.
Well, of course. Well, you've got a language barrier. You can't quite communicate if somebody can't speak the English language. And of course, Olympic actually said that the Mount Temple was also near as well. That was another rescue vessel that was in range of Titanic.
Yeah, like when the Mount Temple was asking the Titanic what's going on, Jack Phillips couldn't read the Mount Temple signal, but he just gives him the position.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if Titanic's, I can imagine this would have happened if there was another alternate timeline. If Titanic had had her sister closer to her, I'm pretty sure everyone would have gone off. You know,
Yeah.
there's a good chance everyone would have survived.
Yeah, and I remember in the third part of the video of Titanic in her own words,
Well, I
Um,
actually watched the whole video of it. Actually, someone did a full video of it. I didn't see it in the parts that you saw. Mine was a whole version.
yeah, because unfortunately because they forgot to add the third part of that video to make it like a complete full video.
Well, the one I watched was a full video, thankfully.
Yeah, like I remember in the third part that Baltic was asking the Carpathia for passenger transfer, but they said there's no need for passenger transfer.
Well, like I said, it wasn't easy for everybody to understand what was going on with the Titanic because, you know, everyone believed it to be unsinkable. Or was it sinking or not? It's just, I know. It was just how it was back then. If we did it in today's time, all this happening today, everyone would be responding. You know.
Yeah. Have you seen multiple videos about some steamships that have being out there still being used?
Yep, there are some that are still here today, still hanging around. Not as useful as they used to be, but they still have a bit of fire left within them to continue on being useful with what they can use, apparently.
Yeah, because I remember that there is a steamship that I've seen from the videos called the SS Shield Hull. Is that what it says?
Yes.
Okay, it's the Shield Hull. Yeah. Because I remember one time when I saw the video about that ship, just blow its whistle when the cruise ship is sailing by, blowing its horn.
Well, that's how ships communicate, technically.
Yeah, and what was that other sound that the SS Shield Hull just used? Like besides the whistle, like something else.
Either way, Astro, what do you think of the video I've sent you anyway? Is it pretty good?
Yeah, it was very good. Very, very good. Interesting to see.
Then did you hear what the narrator was saying? It was like the Titanic was tougher than she may have looked, and saying that it was kind of like the hero itself or whatever, like being the survivor of its own disaster. Like it's that kind of hero that others die, but he ended up becoming the hero at the end or whatever it was called again. That classic line, what they say about good or bad guys or whatever it was. So I thought that was a very intriguing way of looking at it.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, have you watched some videos from Historic Travels as well?
Yes, I remember that too as well. That's very iconic. I remember that as well.
Yeah, I remember I saw one video that he talked about a cat that was once on board the Olympic and Titanic.
I'm not sure how to believe that. Apparently, to be quite honest with you,
Yeah,
that's just
for what Sam just said. Sam just said that Jenny the cat is one of the an icon for the White Star Line, because what she does is that she would walk around the ship, patrol everything is okay, and make sure that there would be no mice or rats.
okay.
Yeah, and ever since when she was on board the Titanic, she had kittens.
I don't believe that one bit, to be quite honest. Hell, some people even said, speaking of cats, that reminds me of another ship that sank, but in World War II. Somebody, there was a cat who was said to have survived the sinking of the Bismarck. And I'm thinking, as well, it's rumored to have been.
Yeah, and speaking about Bismarck, I do remember that ship was headed over to the White Star Line, and it was renamed Majestic.
No, I wasn't referring to Astro. I think you might be mistaken for the naming. I'm not talking about the ocean liner Bismarck. I'm talking about the German warship Bismarck that will be sank in World War II.
Yeah, hold on for a minute. I'm gonna do something really quick.
Hey there, creepy boy number 90. Nice to see you, pal. It's good to see you back. Yep. December has been quite unique, like I said. Christmas is coming ever so closer, and I've been looking forward to it, man. I really am. I'm sure you guys are looking forward to it as well. Despite the fact it hasn't been quite the most wintry, although we did get a couple of days of Jack Frost, and then we had the thick fog rolling in. You know, it's been freezing cold, but then temperature rose up, and then eventually we're going to get strong winds blowing at this point. It's actually warmed up a bit again. Right now, it's 7 degrees out there, but it's pitch black. I can't even see a thing out there.
Yeah, from where I live in, it started to become like, a little bit warm out here.
It's 7 degrees outside on my end, so it's temperature's risen up a bit. It was been 3 degrees, now it's just shot right up. It's all been okay, Creepy Boy 90. I'm doing well, like I said. I have to stream when I can or if I need to, because I always wonder what will happen. Okay, NWI guy. Listen, man, if you're not a big fan of Christmas, then that's not a good thing. Obviously, that's bad luck, pal. Anyways, I was talking about the German battleship Bismarck, Astro, not the Bismarck from the ocean linering. So you got the name mixed up.
Sorry about that.
That's fine.
Are you doing something for the moment?
Just streaming live with my mates, and I'll be Yeah, I had a really good day.
She wasn't very well, Mum said.
No, she wasn't. Sorry, I was trying to sort me out.
Yeah.
So I've just letting you know. So yeah, I ended up went out for a while, I've been walking in the nice fresh air, just to come over. That's why I've done like 20 days now, so I've got 2 bags in now.
Yeah, no, 10 points and what?
50 and 5 days and 50. That's right. I need just the 5 and stuff. Anyways, I've done that. Going to Smith earlier on. Yeah, that was actually good show. Post rolling at the time. You got down from me. I don't think down from all of you. I know, I'm still yeah, we saw him in 2017 and we saw him in X2 when I went to my last really really that and then we played on the class. Well, we were sat in the same place where I was. 2017 and we won. We won his X2 yeah, like I said, because you was there and you let me go on my own, I walked back and yeah, and what's good about it as well, yes, and of course, with my boys at my and also Winston Smith, the one that's what I find you think he's not I know, but I'm thinking about yeah. I'm really glad I'll be
You're going to have to.
There's no chance because now I'm bad.
Yes, well, I can't.
There's no chance. But anyways, like I said, Taker's there was there in this big box. He's got his like brand new motorcycle when he's 2020 in his last match.
Which is what the bloke said.
The Boneyard match in there. And it's actually in there, couldn't be all of them. But anyway, I didn't count if you put the change, but I just stars and drive around. It can be good, it can break everything apart well, but it's actually got the increased values in the region last week. I thought, well, I could strengthen it for my lift here, sit down, because it's pregnant or but basically I can't do that. The only sits up like this, but with the elite, you can actually bring it back forward. You know, do the whole thing like you can else. I could just say that I would be a bit surprised. Take his Boneyard motorcycle with the money. Yeah, we can actually sing like motorcycle. First time in years since I last did it with him, since the old, since the day we having
Hey, dude, if you could still hear me, I have to go because my phone is dying in 2%.
Okay, Astro, sorry if you heard me there talking in the background. Just talking with my dad.
It's all right. I'm just letting you know that I have to go because my phone's dying in 2%.
Oh, find a charger and stack it in if you can.
Yeah, well, I'll see you later. Well, into the next stream.
Yep, you never know when I'll pop back in, but it was nice speaking to you again, Astro.
Yeah. So, all right, I gotta go because my phone just dropped to 1 now.
Yeah, get that thing charged up quickly.
All right, then. See you later, bud. Take care.
And you too, man. Oh, well, maybe on for a nice hour. Might want to wrap this one up pretty quickly. Seems like the signal's acting a bit funny. With that being said, though, I'll pop back on for another stream at some point, and hope you guys are doing quite well. I'll catch you a bit later, and hope you all have a nice Christmas, and might see you in 2024. Stay safe, everybody.